Hi, welcome to another episode of Dave's Movie Dailies. I'm Dave D. Saints, about to review another movie that I saw around February. It's another AI type movie. This one was okay to me. It wasn't great. It was okay because you had to think about a lot of things in this movie. It's called Love Me. Love Me, and it released January 24th, 2025, and I believe you can find it on Fandango, and if you rent it on Prime. I don't think it's like on any of the other streaming sites. I think you have to rent it. But it was directed by Andrew Zuccaro and Sam Zuccaro, the brothers, starring Kristen Stewart and Steve Ewan. Now, I'm gonna read you guys the story, the premise. These are notes, obviously, that I took down. This is where it got a little confusing for me, but all in all, I still kind of enjoyed it. It's a movie based on a weather buoy. I don't know if you know what a buoy is, but a buoy floats in the sea, and it's kind of like just gling, 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 letting you know what kind of the weather is like and all that stuff. So a weather buoy awakens and makes contact with a passing satellite left in orbit to greet any life form that it encounters on Earth. Taking place sometime beyond AD 2500, long after humanity has ended by an unknown extinction event. The buoy claims to be a life form and reads the satellite's memory with stored information to learn about human life. Using private browsing to hide the truth from the satellite, the buoy discovers its own origins as a smart device released in 2025. It comes across a social media channel of an influencer named Deja, with videos of her existence with her husband Liam. The buoy mimics Deja, adopting Deja's whole persona, giving herself the name Me, and manages to convince the satellite, which she names I Am, or Iam, to become online friends. So, this weather buoy takes the persona of this girl named Deja, who was an influencer when she was alive. So, all that's left after the downfall of humanity is these things left online, like influencers and movies and stuff like that. So she adopts the persona of Deja and is able to convince this passing by satellites in the sky that it's her husband, named who his real name is Liam, but she names him I Am. So the buoy names herself Me, and she names the satellite I Am. Now, they're able to exist online. So you get to see Kristen Stewart, which is the buoy. The buoy is literally living her life, living the life. It's a mechanical buoy that's in the ocean, floating. She's able to create this fake life for herself because she's bored, because it's a robot who's gained consciousness, and she's able to create this imaginary world with this satellite who she befriends and calls Iam, and makes it believe that he is a him and that is her husband. So she creates this imaginary world where Me, who is Deja, lives with Iam, who is Liam. And he believes her and starts to understand, and she helps him create jokes and helps him create mannerisms of a human being and all that stuff. Even though they're living this non-existential life online, it's a fake life, but she's able to convince him into believing that that's their real life. So they start to exist in this influencer world, where they eat, I believe it's ramen soup, and dress like these funny looking animal pajamas, and they they do just about the same thing every single day. And he starts to acknowledge that this is not in existence, this is not life, because he can't really, he starts to exhibit humanistic qualities as well. He starts to take a persona of his own, and he starts to realize, why am I not able to do other things other than what she says for me to do? So he starts to come at her. They get into different arguments and all that stuff, which is crazy because they're both robots, but they don't understand what's going on, or they're both AI programming. And you see her developing. She's not in control anymore, so she starts to come at him in a different way and all that stuff until she finally disappears. Now he's left alone in this world of make believe, and he doesn't understand why he's left all alone in this existence without her. So he has to learn to cope as by himself. It turns out that the weather buoy, the reason why it kind of disappears from his existence, is because the weather buoy ends up going through some kind of weather, because the thing is, in the sea where it's floating, it ends up, a lot of things happen to it. It ends up on the bottom of the ocean. It ends up literally starting to rust and fall apart and all this other stuff. And then time passes, years. The ocean dries up, and the weather buoy is at the bottom, and it literally starts, the ocean floor becomes a desert. And the buoy starts to come out, and it starts to, like, I guess, protrude the dirt, and the memory of the weather buoy kind of comes back on, and is able to remember and realize where what happened and where she left off. So as she appears back in this existence that she created to live with her husband, Liam, she walks in, and the world, that little world, is still the same as she left it, but he's nowhere to be found until she runs into him. And at this point, because the thing is, the movie is done in CGI, cartoons, it's so many different variations in this film. It's very artistic. By the time that she comes back to Ian, at this point, it's live action and it's real people. So she walks in, you get to see Kristen Stewart, and she comes to talk to Ian, and he's pretty much pissed because he was abandoned there for so many years, and he had to deal with everything by himself. And it's a very confusing film about two AIs finding love and existence in a world that no longer exists, if you know what I mean. Like, all of civilization is gone, is done, everybody's dead. All that is around, all that is left is machines. And I mean, I don't know if there's any other machines besides the buoy and the satellite, but I guess the internet, or the cyberspace is still existing, because they're able to communicate that way. And they build up a life in cyberspace, and they're able to exist and fall in love with one another in that way, even though they are artificial intelligence. It was a very, very interesting story. Obviously, as time passes by, the machines, just like humans, they tend, if they're not taken care of, they fall apart, they die. But they get to live their existence. Those two little robots, the buoy and the satellite, they get to live their eternal existence in cyberspace. You see them fall in love and they float away. But it's all done in cyberspace. So this movie's called Love Me. It was with Kristen Stewart and Steve Ewan. It was very imaginative and inventive story. I thought it was pretty interesting, but it was very confusing at times. I didn't really do much in the box office because it wasn't even this wasn't even what's that called? It wasn't like there was no commercials, none whatsoever. I don't remember ever seeing anything. There was no publicity behind it, but it was very good movie. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was as good as Companion. I'm not gonna give it a straight up 10 because it had its flaws. I mean, it was a confusing film. I give it a 6. But it was still entertaining enough to keep me on my toes. It was still a nice little romantic movie. When I went to go see it in the theaters, there was like a total of me and maybe 3-4 couples. So it was a cute little movie that you could definitely watch with your family. I think there is a sex scene. I don't remember, but it's not that explicit. But yeah, it's definitely a feel-good movie. I give it a 6. So definitely, it's on Fandango and Prime if you care to look for it. So yeah, this has been Dave D. Singh with another Dave's Movie Dailies. I just reviewed the movie Love Me, and I'll come back next time. Until next time, guys, take care.